Hey there, neighbors and naysayers. May 25th, 2024. Boy, I've been doing a bunch of videos lately just because things are changing so rapidly that you got to catch it up. So, this is the bale grazing field, of course, where the red truck box is. That's where the sheep spent their winter. We had the box there because we had a pup. We probably won't graze that field this time, but we're going to graze. Of course, we've been grazing the bale graze field. So you can see down in there, there's a couple of depressions in the grass. That's where the bales were. One of them, you can even see a little bit of hay. I've driven through a bunch of them today. A bunch of turnips, plantain, and chicory growing in them, especially these later ones, or the ones that were used earlier in the winter. But I guess specifically the topic for today, I took a video yesterday of the weaning process around here, and as of this morning we have decided that they are weaned. Usually it takes 4, 5, 6 days. This group stopped balling at day 3, so they're good enough that they can be moved off to somewhere else. They haven't went through one strand fence. They're done balling, so we're ready to move them back out with the sheep and the stalker steers. But this puts me in a quandary, because it's the great unknown. So I know right now that the sheep and the stalker steers, about an acre is a good starting place for them of this really tall, over mature stuff. They'll eat what they want, they'll pack the rest into the ground, and we'll have good grass again in another 30 days. But in fact, this here we may have to graze it twice like this, because it'll probably go ahead and seed again, because that'll be before the longest day of the year. But anyway, we know they're an acre. Now when we put those calves in, we don't really know how much it's going to be, like how big the paddock should be. It's the great unknown. Same with the cows on the other side. I don't know how much they really need a day just yet, because they're just weaned. So it's a heck of a quandary of what to do. I already planned on giving the stalker steers and the sheep about an acre a day. Now we put the calves in there, that's about a third again increase in their forage. But as I calculated that, I'm like, it's not really going to matter much. It makes a difference. But I guess always before, when I was doing this, let's say prior to divorce, and especially prior to kids, I was building paddocks every day. So if one wasn't right, then the next day I gave them a little more or gave them a little less. Now I'm to the point that I give them, I build a week's worth of fence at a time, both for both groups. So it makes it a little tougher. If you err, you're going to be bad for a week. And if you err and you say, well, I got twice as many paddocks, I'll just use 2 in one day, well, then you're way off the other way. You're not grazing enough. So it's kind of we'll figure this out as we go. We're going to figure this out. So what I've done here is I've got 3 paddocks until we reach down there around the buildings, and that can be broke up in a million different ways very easily. So we're going to find out Monday, Tuesday what they're going to need, and then Wednesday will be a kind of a crapshoot day. Thursday we can gather it all up. The boys won't be with me. I can start building new fence, and that will give me what I need for the rest of the, actually, week and a half, because I'll build for the next week. But just give you an idea of what we go through here. I loved it when I could just fence every day, other than you did it every day, but you could get a feel for what things needed to be, where now I don't have that ability. Now with the cows, I'll still don't do a lot of that day to day, because it's one strand fence. I can do it quick, and I can even do it with both boys on the 4-wheeler. But the sheep is a little more unhandy to do when the boys are here, so I'll still build the week. So along with that, I wasn't even really going to take a video to talk about this, but just wanted you to see what I'm doing, what I'm grazing, and how I do it. Really, in the end, this is all Mother Nature, and if we screw up, it's not that bad, as long as they get fed, as long as they get enough. If they eat too much of this, I'm not real concerned. If they don't eat enough of it, I'm not real concerned. But I'd like for it to be, and if they don't eat enough of it, then they can stay here 2 days. If they eat too much of it, we'll move them half a days at this point. So it's not that big a deal. We got ways that we can make this work, and I was back at the farm this morning working on my automatic gate mover, or opener, I guess. I had it built a year ago, used it a couple times, haven't used it, but I think this year it's going to be really handy to use, although I've just realized that I have an Ethan who is not going to school this summer, and he could come out and move calves if someone would bring him out, or move cows if someone would bring him out here. So I don't know how much I really need the automatic gate opener. He would enjoy going out and moving the cows. So along with that, because we're grazing this tall stuff, people say, how do you do 3-strand in it? Well, I'm building along this line, and I'll spin back around and show you where we started from over there. It's 263 feet wide. So I run a path with the 4-wheeler first, then I build the bottom strand, and you can see my unroller here on the side of the bike. Build the bottom strand in the previous path, and then I run the next 2 side by side, so we mash it down close to the fence. So when the calves and the sheep come running in here, they're going to run through the fence because they'll be on the mash down side. They'll see the fence before they do. This ain't perfect. We'll still get some grass that'll come up, but this is the way I can do it. I've looked at a roller, I've looked at mowing, and I've looked at doing a lot of things, but really it's only like this for a month, and then it calms down and we're good. And really, once the lambs get kind of trained to the fence, then we move to 2-strand fence anyway. So we're just running back and forth until we get it kind of run down, and I pull that bottom wire humming tight, so that it'll push the grass down, and then I'll turn it on a day or 2 ahead of time to make sure we get it burnt a little bit, and we usually are okay. I've got some lambs that are sneaking out right now, and that's the other thing about them going this way. If they're still sneaking out by the time we get to the barn, there may be a mass exodus. We'll get rid of the troublemakers and send them off down the road. So just wanted to see what I'm doing and how we cope with it. We talk like paddock divisions are hard and fast, and this is why we do temporary paddocks, because if we had this place broke up into 30 individual paddocks, or 45 or 14 or whatever your number is, I mean, we have it broke up into 14 essentially. They're not always the right size, especially not in hill country where they can't be. So we use this temporary fence to make paddocks bigger and smaller. This field was 2 days last pass. It was 2 days the pass before, and it was 1 day for the 2 passes prior to that. So we've made the fences smaller, and then come July and August, it typically is back to 1 paddock again for the July-August time frame. Now that 1 paddock is with everybody together. So it just makes our system so much more flexible. I'm kind of poking around today, but really if I jumped on fences right away in the morning, I'd be done by noon for both different groups of cows. As long as I continue to take fences down behind me and have them gathered up, I can be done in about 4 hours. So with that, I'll say, we'll see you next time.